Hello and welcome to History Repeats Itself. My name's Negative Root and let's get cracking. We're looking at the Luna 1 spacecraft on the way to orbit at a great rate of knots, and thereafter orbit to the moon. Now, this was the Russians upping the ante, basically. They had put the first satellite in orbit, they put the first living thing in orbit, and then the Americans had a string of consecutive launches where they lofted, plenty of satellites and made a few important discoveries. And the Americans also took the claim of the first communications satellite, wherein President Eisenhower had broadcast a message to the world, if you had a sensitive enough receiver system, that that said basically, we're in this race too. It's not just all one-way traffic. But this was going to be the Soviets upping the ante. The plan was to reach out and touch the moon. Now this is the Luna 1 spacecraft. It is a modified R7. R7 is the thing that lofted Sputnik 1 and 2. Thank heavens that worked that time. Gee whiz. I've had a few practice launches at this, and that's so far where I've got caught a couple of times. Now, did need to burn through this stage. As I was saying, it's a modified R7, and it has this transfer stage on top. This is the transfer stage for the impactor probe, getting quite nicely in the top there. I forgot to actually rearrange the staging there. This is another vehicle by Soviet probes, a mod. Now let's just have a look here. See what's happening. It's at 85. Don't mind that at all. Let's see what this will do. We might be lucky. Nope, not quite. Not quite lucky enough there. So we'll have to circularize first and then burn to the moon. In the actual mission, they would have just burnt straight up. Done it in one. Yeah. Back a little bit. We'll do this in two so I get a nice circular orbit. If my spacecraft wants to move. God damn it. Okay, come on. Come on. Now this would normally have to be... here we go. Bit of RCS will get us around faster. Ooh, whoops, bit fast. Come back. I think we've got plenty of RCS. Yeah, tons. Wonderful. So, the node is coming up, so we probably should start burning. Oh, oh. Yeah, there we go. Back to our orbit and see what's happening. Now these R7s are pretty good rockets, really. They make quite a boom. Got lots of DV, and they're not bad actually to fly. We'll just see if we can lift up our apoapsis a bit. It was a bit tricky. Okay. Nearly circular. Well, we're close enough to circular. Screw it. Let's get on with it. Now, well, we're not too bad. Not too badly inclined either. see if we can get this intercept. Go. Maybe back here. Okay, I'm thinking there. What? What? Now this needs to do a certain thing when it hits the moon. Because it will never actually hit the moon. It'll do that. Now the original mission is supposed to impact in the moon, right? Pretty obvious. What actually happened though, ooh, there's an asteroid. What actually happened was it missed by 6 kilometers, which, needless to say, was a bit embarrassing. Now what we'll do is we'll just stage here. Get ourselves pointing in the right direction. Stage. Right, wonderful. Because we'll be off there shortly. We'll just time warp around. Add one for the maneuver node. Oh, we're zooming around the planet. I have to wonder who came up with the idea of doing an impactor probe. I have to wonder if there was vodka involved too. Let's run something into the moon. That's a good idea. Let's do that. Anyway, right, let's get this thing pointed. Nice, yeah. We want to do something like that. And we want to miss so that we shoot off into a heliocentric orbit. Now, this rocket entered the history books for the wrong reasons. It became, famous because firstly because it missed, but it also then became, it still got a few firsts. It was the first object outside of Earth orbit, the first object into the vicinity of the moon, and first object into a heliocentric orbit, which is of course an orbit around the sun. So it wasn't all bad. I have to wonder what the conversation was like when they realised that they'd missed. I wonder if someone got the shits. How did you miss? Whilst it is a big target, it is a long way away, and we're talking about, the differences of, a couple of 100 meters. Sorry, like 6 kilometers. And the other thing was that if you mistime things by the slightest fraction of a second, you're going to miss, basically, and that's what happened. The top stage didn't time itself right, so it ended up missing the moon by a considerable amount. We'll just continue to burn here and see if we can get this down to about, oh, a bit too far, shit, I've overrun it. Wonder if we can break out of it. Yep, that's gonna have to do it. So that is the mission. The lunar probe took 2 days basically to get to the moon, and after that, we'll just demonstrate what happened. Just grab something. Sphere of influence change, 30 seconds before. Actually, I need 15 seconds. Right. Off we go. Okay, wonderful. Now this orbit is wrong, this orbit is right. We'll have change in our sphere of influence surely. But there is... wow. Just spin this around so we can get a good photo. Everyone loves a photo. Yeah, we need to do. We need to deploy this thing in something like this kind of attitude. Okay. You notice that that small bump, I pushed it out another whatever kilometers. Pretty big really. And this pushed this in by, you know, just a little bit. Let's jump back to the other one. Our Lunar 1 probe. Now we need to orientate this a certain way, because the sharp bit is supposed to run into the big wobbly thing, or the big lumpy thing. Let's just put it that way. Okay. There we go. So Lunar 1. Hell of an idea. Hell of a failure. You can only imagine if you were the probe and you're like, it's right there. Like I could touch that. It's so close. But inevitably it missed. Went shooting around the moon. Something like this. I got slingshotted out of the solar system and into the first heliocentric orbit. Just need to add this in. Actually, probably we don't need to, because it should achieve curve and escape. Should do. We'll just continue to time warp through, and I'll show what ends up happening. This poor little probe. Obviously, runs out of power eventually too. So it only just gets outside of the sphere of influence of Kerbin. But there we go. It enters a heliocentric orbit that crosses a few times. Maybe we can... Does it ever... There we go, closest approach. That seems like it'll be the closest approach for a very, very long time. Alright, I've been Negative Root. Thank you very much for joining me in this episode. I look forward to seeing you in the next History Repeats Itself one, which should be coming at you very shortly.